Oh, I'm a lion, not a Leo. Yeah, how it got me, that's true though. Karate chop you like judo. Side me out in the sky, floating on Arcturus, passing through Orion. He blessing me, I enjoy. She'll always be loyal, heavily made from Zion. I'm God chosen, who God chose. I'm God chosen, who God chose. I got the keys, dripping prestige. Go to my wrist when I roll up my sleeve. Pull up my cherry beaming, yeah. Walking my water on these Jesus. Work on day, strengthen my faith. Angels rejoicing and screaming my name. Flexing, I'm rocking compliance. Shining through with the light. I'm stuck in the matrix. All these demons that I'm facing. I'm never complacent. Backsliders call them fakers. You niggas fugazi, psychedelics going crazy. We're living in final days. Now is our tidal wave. I'm God chosen, who God chose. I'm God chosen, who God chose. She a young queen and she got goals. Working hard for the 100-fold. Got her scriptures on lockdown. Yeah, credit score looking like A1. Been my right ribs since day one. Virgin with ways just slay 'em. Yeah.
Oppressors trying to get rid of us, but still our spirits hold strong in this land of lust, in this land of murder. Flooded our homes with them drugs, gave us guns, then expected us not to murder. Damn, a cold game, these crackers playing with us. They perfected sadistic, just another statistic. They won't see me dead, all my blood dripping, but I can't never fold. The righteous always bold. These LA streets cold, and they don't love you none. My little homie lost his life when he found a gun. Trying to prove to the set, lurking in the field. Had them squeezing on triggers, Call of Duty for real. Living in the midst of hell. Agenda after agenda aimed at us, won't see us fail. They give us school or the county jail. They give us school or the county jail. And that's real. You either gonna be a mental slave or a physical one. Pick your poison. They snatched the mind but kept the body strong. That's why we mentally weak, but always smoking strong. Was never taught how to lead our people, we follow on. Deceitful tactics, our enemies use the art of war. I'm talking Sun Tzu, what would your son do when you ain't coming home and there ain't no food? Mama been away, been a couple of days. The homies on the block, out there selling rock and running from the cop. This ain't a dream, homie, this ain't a movie. You can say that for the screens, homie. This our real life, we got real strife. In the army of the Lord, I want real strife. That's how I'm coming now, respect me when I come around. Drake said, thank me later, nah, nigga, thank me now. I want my flowers, I'ma smell them too. In this land, young man, you either eating or you turn to food. Have your name on the shirt or written on a stone. Having to talk to your kids through that prison phone. This our real life, this our real plight. You need to get it while you're here, cause they'll forget you when you gone.
The repo man is here to collect. We want the kingdom, so surrender the debt. We want it all, arms, legs, and your neck. 1,000-yard stare, you ain't staring this bad. No, you're not. You think not, place it down as a bet. Ain't no beating around the bush when we coming direct. If you teaming up with Satan, boy, you better defect. Speak the word of truth, baby, don't live with regret. Now here's the deal. We won the war, boy, it's signing and sealed. Got the California chrome and it's tucked concealed. You know the truth might surprise you like a gender reveal. Fraud man, Navy SEAL, your Howard side at the wheel. Leaving suckers in the dust, sit back and watch the rubber peel. Not gonna stop till we got our enemies to kneel. Live by the law for real, that's what we supposed to do. Eat them, get in the past, nigga, that's non-negotiable. Raise your hands, crack the ceiling. It's 12 tribes in the building. A holy people, not the villain.
What we doing,
We legacy building. Raise your hands, crack the ceiling. It's 12 tribes in the building. Teach the women and the children. We legacy building.
Tears of joy when I'm looking at my people's face. We set apart, I wouldn't want to be no other race. And though we living in hell, our spirits still prevail. With every reason to fail, but God placed us here. God is covered by his wings of protection. I put it on the line for the brothers in my section. We feeling good, it ain't no coincidence. When you strive for the law, you'll be void of offense. Shout out to the bar, the drinks is on me. Practice makes perfect, so perfection we gon' see. We gone some rough ways, but we stuck to the plan. Knew that if I did his will, one day then I'd be the man. Blessings to the man whose soul would understand. I'm not the one who could, rather be the one who can. I prove it with my love, and the spirit's getting deeper. Some thoughts by yours truly, aka my brother's keeper.
Raise your hands, crack the ceiling. It's 12 tribes in the building. A holy people, not the villain.
What we doing,
We legacy building. Raise your hands, crack the ceiling. It's 12 tribes in the building. Teach the women and the children. We legacy building. In conclusion, no debate, the points of improving. Still recruiting, teaching, see my nigga, what you doing? Trying to figure out if Trump's gonna shoot it out with Putin. Pseudos claiming they got the truth, now who you fooling? In 07, got some wisdom at the Mayan ruins. Some of these jakes be snakes, on their bellies moving. These guys be high, when they prophesy, they strong delusions. Cruising for a bruising, trying to wake you from your snoozing. Setting order to confusion, doing it right. Life and times of an Israelite, enduring the fight. 7 lamps to keep the light, hold tight with all your might. Just some insight to keep you right and not left. Stay focused. To an example shown, they got it on loan. We repossessing it, we taking it home. Frank and Myrna cologne. Words can break bones, so watch what you say. Make it count and pray for the day to be delivered.
So special.
I'm telling y'all, in this faith, the only thing that you can do is try. You gotta apply these laws, statutes, and commandments with the faith of the Most High, Yahweh Shai. I'm telling you, I tried. A mouth is hard to contain, the fakes to point the blame. I got a 9 iron, I'll plug you, welcome to the range. Dry bones, hunger pains, pestilence and hurricanes. Niggas wanna entertain, the blind can't ascertain. The war's for your brain, wanna suit up, then come see me. Read John 8 and 32 and maybe we can be free. No hookups or freebies, Israelite rules on GP. Making the heathen flee, living the word is my destiny. I might get foul, throw the towel, where's the referee? Friends connect my Hennessy, you gassed off jealousy. Effeminate tendencies, love affair with enmity. These kites want our legacy and lied about equity. Rebel like the Maccabees, worldwide catastrophes. Pray when we face the east, the 7 crowns on the beast. Let my dogs up the leash, hit the word in the streets. I'm Mayweather with the word, all wins, no defeats. I try to stand tall from pillar to post, but I swear these things be doing the most. They be doing the most. I try to keep it real when everything's fake. Never fold, never break, I be a stand-up J. I try to avoid these stumbling blocks like potholes and scanning you niggas like barcodes. I try to keep it real when everything's fake. Never fold, never break, I be a stand-up J. as good as it gets. The Lord said it best. Yours is delayed and mine's is expressed. My spirit is vexed. Hit the left and Van Ness, keep the law for success. I heard the word about Kemet and I wasn't impressed. Nevertheless, I keep my sword sharp. You love playing in the dark. Raiders of the ark. Harrison Fords get torn apart. Why you wanna start a game that you can't win? A bunch of jokers, charlatans, and Harley Quinns. Melanated skin, holding the upper hand. You rustle on the motherland, gird with the bands. Do as the Lord commands, and it's like the sands. 144 grand is how we seal the deal. It's no swine with the meal, elected like you're ill. Israel, how it feels, time to break the spell. Shouts to UZL, from the depths of hell. I'm doing life with Christ and I don't need no bail. I try to stand tall from pillar to post, but I swear these ain't be doing the most. I try to keep it real when everything's fake. Never fold, never break, I be a stand-up Jake. I try to avoid these stumbling blocks like potholes and scanning you niggas like barcodes. I try to keep it real when everything's fake. Never fold, never break, I be a stand-up Jake.
I like how the beat changed. Yeah. What you know about people like a foul trying to bring you down, so you showing out. Know a Jake dope, so you never doubt. Never had it easy, took a rough route. Made it through the rain, made it through the drought. You was working hard while them niggas pout. Now the fruit bear strong, you standing out. Standing out. Yeah. What you know about people know your name when you go into their town, boots to the ground. Trying to teach the word, get it through the crowd. Speaking on some wisdom that you woke and found. Gotta switch gears when they getting proud. Hit them with the word till I humble down. Humble down, humble down, humble down. Yeah, I wear my fringes for my safety, cause we be fighting on it daily. I know that there's ups and there's downs in this thing we call life. I can't chance it, I'm waiting. I'm putting my eggs in a basket. Y'all should roll it to the casket. There's only two things in this life that is certain, my nigga, that's truth and that's taxes. The reason I'm up in this booth, I'm counting my talents and using my youth. You chasing these women, I'm chasing this loot. My riches in heaven, they cannot compute. Preserving my soul, you preserving your shoes. Inhaling that weed, now you go to the moon. Apply to my people, the ending is doom. A message they hate, but reality soon. What you know about being in the field, young nigga getting paid. My people that's reading, that y'all feel the same. If you don't know, then go look for the page. You gotta be patient, my nigga, don't rage. I know that they want us all locked up in cage. I swear if you focus your mind and you manage your time, it's a promise that you gon' be great. What you know about trying to share light when everybody lost hope. Being the only true source in the hood that's changing the minds of our people for good. Getting the youngins up out of the streets and getting our sisters up off of the pole. We praying and crying, the Lord set us free. Get off your ass and go fight for your folks. What you know about? What you know about? And by the way, that was Matthew 13:44.
That's what I'm talking about. I need that energy. I need that type of energy all day. I said, Kwam Yasharala! Kwam Yasharala! See, now I know y'all here for fun. See, y'all was playing at first, but we're not playing up here. I need my brother. My brother. And we got another fire one for y'all real quick. Yeah. This is for all the bosses in the building. You feel me? Toronto Raptors, they just won a trophy, but we getting a bigger trophy. We getting the kingdom. We about to get the kingdom. Hey, Deuteronomy 7:6 said we above the rest, and I want y'all to feel that when we play this song. Don't go ahead and drop that. Let's go. Let's get it. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it this rest. It's already won. Hey. We gonna try to find a hook on two listens. Check it out. My team is balling, your team is born. We getting broke. I'm saying yeah from that. I said, my team is balling, your team is born. We getting broke. We prefer the latter.
The Israelites been on.
May be seated. Shabbat Shalom. How y'all feeling? Okay. Go to the book of Ecclesiastes. Chapter 3. Ecclesiastes, I'm sorry. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, the water. We're going to start at chapter 3 and verse 1.
Book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3 and verse 1. To everything there is a season.
So that's the title of today's or this afternoon's lesson. To everything there is a season. To everything there is a season. You know, I remember being a kid. And when you're a kid, when you're young, your mind thinks upon so many different things, right? Curiosity, right? You're very curious usually as a child. And along with that curiosity, sometimes comes various different things that we ponder upon or that we even imagine, right? So as a child, pondering, wondering, imagining different things, it's hard for us to understand how much that we really don't know, how much that we really don't understand. It's hard for us to comprehend that there's so much more to this world and existence outside of the world that we know at that time. Right? I remember as a child, one thing that I did not understand. I did not understand the importance of seasons. All I knew was when it got too cold or when it was too windy or when it was raining that I couldn't play. I couldn't go outside, right? And when I did have to go outside, if I was at school, I got to deal with getting wet. We'd much rather have sunny days, right? How many of y'all preferred sunny days as a child? I remember when it would
rain for a number of days, it felt like forever, didn't it? Felt like forever when it rained just a few days or when it rained a week. I remember hearing people say as I grew, oh, we need the rain. And selfishly and immaturely, I would say in my mind, no, we don't. I want to play. I want to be able to go here. I want to be able to do this. If it rains, I can't do these things. Right? I was a child. I was a child. So much that we don't understand when we children. Now watch this. Read it one more time, Mark.
Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 1. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven.
See, that's the main thing that I did not understand. That along with each season, there was purpose. Right? There was purpose for that particular season and what that season had to bring. Right? I find it mighty peculiar that here we are at the beginning of spring, a new season. Transitioning from the prior season, which was the last season of a year. We're entering a new year. A new year brings upon what? New life. That's what spring is all about, right? Now, we've been taught that the beginning of our year starts January the 1st. But that's not according to history. That's not according to this Bible, right? When you look, you don't even have to look too far. You'll find that everybody knew that the beginning of the year began in the spring. Springtime. What happens in spring? Things begin to grow. New life begins. During winter, everything starting with the fall began to die. And by the time winter comes, it's reached the point of being dormant. Things are not alive. You have animals that hunker down and say, I gotta hibernate, or I gotta move to a different hemisphere where it's warm for the moment so I can survive, because if I stay in the cold, then I might not survive. It's not a lot going on when it's too cold, right? But now, here we are in spring. Spring, new life, new beginnings. And look at everything that's happening. Go on, Ike.
A time to be born and a time to die.
There's a time to be born, and there's a time to die. Man, we lost a brother. We lost a brother. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with him. We not only lost a brother, but we lost a leader. He was one of the leaders of True Nation, Texas. A brother by the name of Franklin. Franklin Goodman. How many of y'all know him? I know you, Monica. I know you definitely know him, and I know you definitely miss him. Because y'all got history. This brother, from what I can recall, right, was a person that was very instrumental in your boy's life, right? right? He was their coach, not just a sports coach, but a life coach, okay? Academic coach, right? I remember me first kind of encountering our dear brother on Facebook. And I would see him all the time commenting and all of that. I'm like, who is this? So I just sat back because I didn't know who he was. But he was commenting and supporting, right? And I recall just over time, I'm like, is he a congregant? He's not a congregant officially, but he gave his undying support. Like, why is this dude supporting us so tough? But he hasn't joined, so I didn't know the full story. And I remember the first time I laid eyes on the brother. I'm sitting up there, we on Slauson and Western, and we street teaching. And I had seen, of course, the brother's face on Facebook. But then I see the brother walking from the parking lot, coming to give me an envelope full of money. I'm like, oh, what's up, Pac? Oh, what's good? And that was Franklin. That was the first time I actually physically laid eyes on him. He was already, before he was a member, he was already putting his money where his mouth was. He was supporting the cause. I mean frequently supporting the cause. Brother had some health issues. Brother decided that it was maybe a smart thing for him to make the move to Texas, and it would help his situation to be able to get on the, I don't know if he was already on the donors list, but was he at that time? Okay, but that put him in an optimum position to be able, to get on that list, and he was able to be successful and got that transplant, right? Okay. He got it. Once he went to Texas, he officially became a congregant. And the brother put the pedal to the metal. Despite whatever health complications, you couldn't tell from afar, because he was pedal to the metal supporting everything. Now, what was surprising to me, not only was the brother big time supporting financially, right, when he didn't have to, going above and beyond, never waving in and telling everybody, look at me, right? All done in humility, all done behind the scenes, right? The scriptures say, let another man praise you. So I could do that. I could praise him. He ain't got to praise himself. We supposed to praise one another, right? Then on top of that, come to find out, he steps up into a role of leadership. We having councils and things of that nature, and guess who holding it down? Guess who out there helping to guide and groom up and raise up on a spiritual level the flock out there? Right behind our dear brother, Chaziel. I forgot the way you actually say it. How you say his name? Kaziel. Was Franklin. And he did a lot of good in Texas. He did a lot of good with True Nation, period. So I wanted to acknowledge our dear brother, man. I know, obviously, everybody didn't know Franklin, but enough of us got a chance to know him and know of him, and some of you were even graced to see him again, or see him even for the first time when he came out here some months back. He came out here. We got a chance to spend time with him when we went to Texas. Solid brother, man. Pretty witty, too, from what I understand. I was here when he came in the back, but it was brothers that stayed the extended time, and they had a great old time with our brother during the time when he was here. I want to blow the horns for him. I want to blow the horns for him. Can we blow it 7 times? I know my family, our family in Texas, man, have suffered a great loss. As much as we've all suffered this loss, our Texas family suffered a great loss, man, because he was a staple in True Nation, Texas. Let's blow that trumpet for him. All praise be to the Most High. Let's make sure, man, we give that support to our family out there. Go to Book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3. Before we go there, hold that Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3. Now we can get that first. Go ahead. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3. Let's get 1 through 6.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3 and verse 1. But the souls of the righteous are in the hand of God.
Said the souls of the righteous are in the hands of the Most High. All right? Sometimes, you know, we find ourselves in a broken place when we lost those that we love. And we have questions, and we don't have answers. And the best place to go to get an answer is this book right here. Bible says, but the souls of the righteous are in the hands of the Most High. Read.
And there shall no torment touch them.
No torment shall touch him. He don't have to worry about this nonsense that's going on in this world anymore. He ain't got to worry about all of this coronavirus stuff. He ain't got to worry about having his feelings hurt. It's a lot of things that he ain't got to worry about right now. Go ahead.
In the sight of the unwise, they seem to die.
In the sight of the unwise, a lot of times we look at them and they just seem to die. And we think of it as the worst thing that could possibly happen. Read.
And their departure is taken for misery.
Oftentimes their departure is taken for misery one way or another, as if it was one of the worst things that could have happened to them. And we definitely a lot of times feel like it's the worst thing that could have happened to us. Because what we know is we're not going to see him in that state anymore. Go ahead.
And they're going from us to be utter destruction.
They're going from us to be utter destruction. So many of us have been broken by death, by the losing of loved ones. Raise your hands if you've ever been broken because you lost somebody that you dearly loved. Read on.
But they are in peace.
But they're in peace. It feels good when you can say that. It feels good because as far as I know, unless somebody bring anything else up, that brother has a righteous reputation. That brother was putting in work. Go ahead and read.
For though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality.
A lot of people will look at his struggles and think that he was punished. Man, he was going through health problems. He was in pain. He said, yet there is hope for immortality. Where he's at now and his path right now, he doesn't have to worry about the same type of mortality that we got to deal with. We still have to deal with ailments. We still have to deal with the issues of life. And he ain't worried about that at this point. Go ahead and read.
And having been a little chastised, they should be greatly rewarded.
Having been a little chastised. When you look at the brother, man, I would look at him and sometimes how worn out he would look. He was chastised. But the Bible says just a little bit. He said, they shall be greatly rewarded. This is a memorial for our brother. All praise be to the Most High. On the Shabbat, on the day of rest, celebrating his rest that he's experiencing right now in the hands of the Heavenly Father. Read on.
For God proved them and found them worthy for himself.
Said the Most High proved that brother and found him worthy for himself. He said, some people you think that they blessed because they live long. He said, I'm not in no rush to get this one up here. He said, but Frankie, bring him on. Well done. Come on, read.
As gold in the furnace hath he tried them, and received them as a burnt offering.
As gold in the furnace. That brother was tried, man. From my understanding, that brother left one marriage, right? Came in this truth, stood on his faith, was married again, and unfortunately things didn't go as well as they could have. And he was yet given another choice, and guess what he stood for? He said, I don't know what you gonna do, but I'm gonna serve the Most High. And that brother didn't miss a beat, did he? And how is it that this man has the last name Goodman? Somebody knew what they was doing. Go from there. Get Isaiah chapter 57. Isaiah chapter 57, and I want verse 1 and 2.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 57 and verse 1. The righteous perisheth, and no man layeth it to heart.
He said the righteous perishes. The righteous dies, yet no man layeth it to heart. Go ahead, read.
And merciful men are taken away.
Merciful men, good men are taken away. Read.
None considering that the righteous is taken away from the evil to come.
You hear that? Boy, this is only the beginning. Look how Esau got us right now. Coronavirus. Coronavirus ain't had nothing on the common flu. The flu this past year killed more people than the coronavirus here. And that's a fact. And if you don't want to believe the Israelite, go and talk to Esau. Go and talk to Dr. Oz and Dr. Drew, because they said it. I heard it come out of their mouth. They said, I don't know what all of the hysteria is over. Said the flu's killed more people. People are going crazy because guess what? The media is being used. Yeah. To cause people to react. And they're doing nothing more than just testing the temperature. Sizing you up. Right? But this is just the beginning. He said, but he ain't got to worry about this. He said, look, man, you ain't got to worry about trying to get up and run and ration. He said, you done did your job. Come on. Now you can watch from up here. Go ahead and read.
He shall enter into peace.
Uh-huh.
They shall rest in their bed.
Go ahead.
Each one walking in his uprightness.
You see that? Go to Psalms chapter 37 and verse 23.
The book of Psalms, chapter 37 and verse 23.
Go ahead.
The steps of a good man.
The steps of a what?
The steps of a good man.
What was his last name? The steps of a good man. Read on.
Are ordered by the Lord.
His steps are truly ordered by the Most High. I bear witness to that. How that man moved. He had no other concern but this truth, the keeping of these laws, and his nation, the children of Israel. He had no other concern. He was all about ordering his steps according to the will of the Most High. Read on.
And he delighteth in his way.
And he delighted in his way, meaning what? The Most High delighted in how Franklin Goodman was moving. Give me Psalms chapter 112 and verse 5.
Psalm chapter 112 and verse 5.
Uh-huh.
A good man.
A what?
A good man.
What was his last name? A good man. A good man doeth what?
Showeth favor.
He shows favor. I saw that man showing favor. I saw there being different situations and issues and offenses, and that man could have been, he could have been indifferent. But he said, I love you. It's all good. We can work this out. I seen that. I witnessed that. Said a good man showeth favor and does what?
And lendeth.
He did more than just lend it. He gave. He was doing more than just being willing to lend to his brother. He gave. Tazarah. You go and you call him and he say, and you say, how much I need? How much you need? Go ahead. Give him a mic. To build up, before we even laid our eyes on these brothers, to build up brothers and sisters in Africa, in Ghana. Go ahead.
Before I made my voyage all the way to Ghana, what I did was I asked this brother, I called this brother on the phone, and literally, I didn't even know this brother personally at that time. My daughter knew him through Facebooks, and that's how I met the brother. And so anyways, one day I called his brother and I told him what my mission was. And I told him if he would be able to donate any amount of money that he could. And I told him the purpose why we're going to do it for, and the brother, he had no problem with it at all. This brother donated a large sum of money, okay? And believe me, that money is not in vain at all, because I'm going to tell you, the camp in Ghana is actually really growing big time, okay? And all because of the faith that this brother had. This brother had so much faith, man. He said, brother, I'll give you this money right now, $1,000. So far, I haven't seen nobody really who has invested that much money for something that he has not seen yet. Okay, so that's the kind of faith that we should be rolling with, brothers and sisters. And this brother, man, hey, he did his job that he was called for. And all praise to the Most High.
God. Go ahead and read that, verse 5.
A good man showeth favor and lendeth. He will guide his affairs with discretion.
He always guided his affairs with discretion. He was a very discreet man. That's how he rolled. That's how he rolled. If it's anything that he could take care of himself before he brought it to you and quote unquote felt like he was burdening you, he was going to try to take care of it. Go from there. Give me Matthew chapter 12 and verse 35.
The book of Matthew, chapter 12 and verse 35. A good man.
A what?
A good man.
A what?
A good man.
What was his last name? Y'all got to say it like you mean it. Good man. Go ahead.
Out of the good treasure of the heart, bringeth forth good things.
Out of the good treasure of the heart bringeth forth good things. Isn't that what that brother just testified right there? That brother had a heart of gold. Go ahead.
And an evil man out of the evil treasure bringeth forth evil things.
And our brother was the first, not the latter. Get Romans chapter 7 and verse 12.
Romans chapter 7 and verse 12. Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just, and good.
He said the law and the commandment is what? Is good. A good man. He was a lawful man. He was a man who kept the laws of the Heavenly Father, the laws of this Bible right here. You know, and for that reason, man, I had no other choice but to speak on him. I couldn't feel right without saying something about him. For real. Get Ecclesiastes chapter 7. Ecclesiastes chapter 7. Let's get verse 1 through 4.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
A good name.
A good name. Good man had a good name. Frank. Franklin. We never gave him a Hebrew name, huh? Goodness. We can still give it to him. You already got it. We ain't gonna reveal it then. Let's reveal it on the Passover on Pesach. A good man had a good name. A good name what?
A good name is better than precious ointment.
Go ahead.
And the day of death than the day of one's birth.
The day of death is better than the day of one's birth. How is that so? Go ahead and speak on it.
Because you haven't done that yet. You haven't earned your name yet.
Hit the nail on the head. When you're born, we got all these hopes of what you will be and what you will do. But until you do those things and you stay on the course, he that endureth to the end shall be saved. We got to finish that course. We can't start off running and we looking good, and then we say, you know what? I'm tired. I got better things to do. We got to keep running on that course. We got to keep running. That man kept running. He ran to the day of his death. So God, watch this, read on.
It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting.
How was that? Boy, we know how the Most High feels about feasting. We feast all throughout the year. We feast on a new moon, which is every month, at the beginning of our months, and technically the Shabbat is a feast too. So we technically feasting at least once a week. He tells us how he wants us to be festive and have a good time and enjoy one another during these feasts. Right? Commemorate our history. Commemorate on the Shabbat, on the Sabbath, the creation of the Heavenly Father. And on all of the other days, commemorating our history, the greatness and the memory of our forefathers. He said, but the house of mourning is better than the house of feasting. What is he talking about? Because today, in our mourning, we get to recognize a great man and his works, just like Amatazah said. We get to recognize what he did during his time on this earth and how he finished his course and what he gave to the nation. Go ahead.
For that is the end of all men.
That's the end of us all. Somebody told me a long time ago. I said, man, I ain't really suffered no great losses as a kid. And they said, you keep living. You keep living. And boy, in this little time that I've lived, I've suffered losses. I found out what it felt like to be broken. Right? But it's so much beauty in looking at this particular situation, because this brother, I don't have a whole lot of doubt and worry in my mind concerning this brother, because of what I saw this brother do and how I saw this brother live. So he said, not just any house of mourning, but specifically, we talking about the house of mourning where we mourning someone we love, but at the same time, we know that a job was well done. Go ahead.
And the living will lay it to his heart.
Go ahead.
Sorrow is better than laughter. For by the sadness of the countenance, the heart is made better.
Now, what is this talking about? Not only in regards to losing those that we love, right? But it says sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance, the heart, meaning the mind, is made better. You know what's so crazy? I'm going to keep it 100 with you. Before all of this coronavirus mess, the vast majority of us, we had a mind that was the furthest thing from trying to even be prepared. Can I get a con? A lot of us, that was the furthest thing from our mind. We was focusing on all types of things that now we realize that are not important at all. That situation gave us a reality check. And that's what happens when we lose people. Especially when they die out of nowhere. We like, that wasn't even expected. And it's such a shock. And it makes you look at yourself and say, I need to get myself together. Here I am focusing on this nonsense over here. Book of 2nd Ezra talk about it. He said, man, put away the mortal thoughts. Those things don't do nothing but press you down. stop you from doing what Rasha talks about all the time. Seek ye first the kingdom of the Heavenly Father. You get so caught up in life and the nonsense and the foolishness and the things that you want and you don't have that you forget to be thankful. You forget that the Bible says, and I don't want to butcher this, but you're going to help me out. Content, godliness.
Oh, yeah, be content with godliness. I don't know verbatim, but I know what you're talking about.
Somebody say it for me. Godliness, goodness. I don't want to butcher it. I feel like I'm going to butcher it if I say it. Godliness, yeah, it came to me. Godliness with contentment is great gain. That's what it is. Godliness with contentment is great gain. Okay. Meaning what? Godliness is keeping these commandments, staying on the course. But in doing so, he says you got to learn how to be content. Sometimes we just want. We want more. We want better. We look at this and we looking at that. Then we get to focusing on that, and we putting our time and our effort on trying to get this and being happy. And he said just sometimes you just got to learn to be happy with what you got. And understand that you ain't losing nothing, but you gaining. There's nothing that you can gain more than peace. When we tell somebody rest in peace, think about that. You're looking at it from a perspective and you're saying rest in peace. And to you, it feels like the end. But that's the beginning of peace. That's what Shabbat Shalom means. It's crazy because some of us salute each other, Shabbat Shalom. And what you technically telling your brother, what you technically telling your sister is rest in peace. To the congregation of the dead, to those of our people who do not have this life, this spirit, they perceive it to be the end. But we ought to know better because we say it to each other all the time. Rest in peace. Shabbat Shalom. Peace is a journey. And our brother has embarked upon another journey. That ain't the end. We just better hope that we able to finish our course in a similar manner. Was that all of that?
That was all of verse 3.
Go ahead, verse 4.
Verse 4, the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning. But the heart of fools is in the house of mirth.
He said the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, meaning what? Sometimes you just got to get in that place where you say, you know what? Now ain't the time to have mirth and gladness and worry about the happiness. We got to focus on getting right. We got to focus on getting our spirit together. All right, you got your beans and your rice. You got your water, right? You got them things, right? What else you got? You got your toilet tissue. Folks is acting a fool over toilet tissue. You got that, right? You probably got enough toilet tissue to wipe your butt 2 times, right? Now that you got all of that, a lot of y'all still ain't got peace. This is the only thing that's going to give you peace right here. We got to focus on this word. Focus on this spirit. Here we are getting ready to go into the Passover, and with the ordinances of the Passover, there's a severe warning that's given. He said, don't partake of this if you ain't right with your brother and your sister. We ought to be getting ourselves right. Because the commemoration of the Passover was all about getting the heck up out of here. Most High said, yeah, this is my warning to you. We really getting ready to get up out of here. But you better make sure you're ready. Y'all ready to get up out of here? Or you know you got some work to do. If he came right now with the door and said, okay, let's go. But don't come if you got any blemish, don't come with me. would you be one of the ones that's able to walk out that door? Or do you still got an alt with your brother, an alt with your sister? Think about it. We got to get ourselves right. Sometimes these things, they have multiple things that it alarms us within our spirits on. Like, yes, like, sometimes you just got to take the time and examine yourself. Was that all of that?
God, that was all of verse 4. You want verse 5?
Nah, I don't need verse 5. Go to 2nd Esdras.
Hey, T.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to say something to further, because you was talking about being thankful earlier and speaking on the brother Franklin, man. I'm forever thankful and grateful for that brother, because in the process of me getting my studio up, for the few people who did help, he was one of the biggest people to contribute to that and to really get it up and off the ground for me. So I'm always thankful for that brother, man.
And that brother was continuously doing good work. Before I go there, get Wisdom of Solomon chapter 4, in verse 7 through 15.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4, and verse 7. But though the righteous be prevented with death, yet shall he be in rest.
He's what?
Yet shall he be in rest.
Boy, you can really say Shabbat Shalom to him right now, because he's resting. Scripture say this is not your rest right here. Well, we ain't celebrated a real Sabbath yet. Imagine really truly being able to rest. He ain't worried about nothing. Read on.
For honorable age is not that which standeth in length of time.
Some people look at it and say, oh man, he was still a pretty young brother. He still had a lot of life he could have lived. Most High say, I don't look at that. Read on.
Nor that is measured by number of years.
Go ahead.
But wisdom is the gray hair unto man. And an unspotted life is old age.
An unspotted life, in the new life that he was given, because he was reborn when he came into this understanding and he acknowledged the truth of Yahweh and his son, our king, Hamashiach Yahweh Shah, whom the world calls Jesus Christ. And he accepted and understood that he was of the seed of Israel, and that there was a mandate that we come back to the laws of the Heavenly Father. Right? That's when new life began. And the way that brother lived his life from that moment on, man, I can't do nothing but clap my hands and commend him. Go ahead.
Verse 10, he pleased God and was beloved of him, so that living among sinners, he was translated.
Go ahead.
Yea, speedily was he taken away.
Somebody said he wasn't even in the truth that long. Most High said, but in that little bit of time that he was in, look how much work he put in. Go ahead.
Lest that wickedness should alter his understanding, or deceit beguile his soul.
Sometimes the Most High say, I can foresee things that you can't, and it's time to get you up out of there. Go ahead.
For the bewitching of naughtiness doth obscure things that are honest. And the wandering of concupiscence doth undermine the simple mind.
Go ahead.
He being made perfect in a short time, fulfilled a long time.
Read on.
For his soul pleased the Lord. Therefore hasted he to take him away from among the wicked.
You see that? Read on.
This the people saw and understood it not.
A whole lot of our people don't understand when they see things like this. They look at babies and children that's taken away and be like, why? Why would God? Sometimes the Most High said, I know what I'm doing. Come sit by me. We sitting up here mourning and crying, and he said, I know what I'm doing. He said, I'm taking this one up out of the wickedness and the foolishness. You can rest. Read on.
And understood it not, neither laid they up this in their minds, that his grace and mercy is with his saints, and that he has respect unto his chosen.
He got respect unto the saints, the children of Israel. All praise be to the Most High for that. You know, when I look and I see my people going through what I see my people going through, and then in the instance I said, man, we the children of Israel. That changed everything for me. When I see pimping and hoeing and, you know, the prostitution, the drugs, the violence, in the midst of all of that, I see hope. Because we the saints. We the children of Israel. We the valley of dry bones. He said they looked upon us and said, them bones ain't going to never live. I don't see how you going to be able to make them bones live again. He said, just prophesy to the wind and I'll do the rest. I commend and I salute every one of my brothers going out on those streets, putting their life on the line to prophesy to the wind. Boy, them seeds just floating through the air. And you don't know where they landing. Somebody in an apartment building a couple of blocks away can hear you over the loudspeaker and they listening to your message. The block seemed like it was so empty and there wasn't nobody there to listen. Everybody rolled their windows up, but it was somebody that watched your video online that got blessed and a seed was planted. Said, we are them dry bones. We waking up. There's an exceeding great army. And I don't want any of y'all to forget that and take that for granted. Sometimes, man, we suffer losses. We suffered other losses. We suffered the loss of a few families that are no longer with us under the banner of our organization. And a lot of times we don't fully acknowledge that's a hit in the spirit. But I'm here to tell you this much. We got to remember how blessed we are. We deal in wisdom with our brothers. They may not be with us in name, but as far as I know that they still continue in this journey, this walk of truth. So we still do all that we can to love them and help them. Because we all we got. With everything that's happening right now, Israel, we all we got. We can sit up there and pick at every little bitty thing. Well, they didn't do that right. You didn't do that right. Blah, blah, blah. But there comes a point when you got to look at what's most important, right? We got to do everything that we need to do, and we can do everything to help restore our brothers when they need it and our sisters when they need it, to uplift or whatever the case may be, because we all got to stay on the course. We all got to endure to the end. Was that all of that?
All of 15, unless you want 16.
That was all I needed in 15. 2 Ezra chapter 14 and verse 35. And just like Yahweh said, he said, you know, they were perplexed. They said, well, they not with us. They over here preaching. What we gonna do with them? And he said, look. He said, if they ain't speaking against me, they for our part. Let them do the works. 2 Ezra chapter 14 and verse 35.
2 Ezra chapter 14 in verse 35. For after death shall the judgment come.
After death shall the judgment come. Go ahead.
When we shall live again.
We gonna live again. Brother Franklin He's going to live again. So even though we take our time and it's okay to mourn, we have our moment to mourn, but we're going to rejoice all the more because that brother's going to live again. Same thing with each and every one of us. Go from there. Get 2 Ezra chapter 15 now. 15 and 24.
2 Ezra chapter 15 and verse 24.
Yep.
Woe to them that sin.
But woe to them that sin. Woe to those that won't get it right. Woe to those that refuse to keep the commandments. Read on.
And keep not my commandments.
Go ahead.
Saith the Lord.
That's what the scriptures is giving a warning. Regarding those that, even with everything that's popping off, they preparing, like I said, they preparing a food supply. They got their vehicles gassed up, right? They getting all of the things that they would need on a carnal level, at least what they think that they would need in order to survive, but they haven't even thought about the spirit. He said, woe, meaning destruction to you all that will not keep these commandments. Read on.
I will not spare them.
He said, I'm not going to spare you. He said, the coronavirus better be the least of your worries because I got way worse that's coming. He said, this is just a test of the emergency broadcast system. He said, I just wanted to see if you was awake. But read on.
Go your way, ye children, from the power. Defile not my sanctuary.
Read on.
For the Lord knoweth all them that sin against him.
You can't hide. It ain't nowhere to hide. You sitting up there thinking the Most High don't see you. He sees you. Well, you know what? I be doing what I got to do. I come to the Sabbath. Most High said, that ain't enough. Your attitude is foul. You ain't dealing with your brother right. You ain't made this right. You ain't made that right. He said, I see you. So guess what we got to do? We got to repent. We got to turn from them ways. Read on.
And therefore delivereth he them unto death and destruction.
That's what's happening. You just got a glimpse when they showed you what happened in China, what happened in Italy. That was just a glimpse. He said, I got far more that's ready to be dropped upon this earth. Get right. Get it right. And it's crazy, like I said, because all of this is happening right before Passover. He said, don't even partake of the Passover. You causing destruction upon yourself if you do so without getting your spirit right. How many of you guys are getting ready for that Passover? I hope you really are. Because I didn't see too many hands. I didn't see too many hands. There's a contingency. Do you realize that the Passover is also part of the contingency that's placed upon your salvation? If you don't know that, you need to read. Getting rid of the leaven. What does the leaven represent? Say it louder. Sin, which is what? The what? Transgression of the law. What does transgression mean? The breaking of the laws. Whose laws? Okay. How many of y'all still breaking laws up in here? That's a trick question, huh? Ain't nobody like. See, if I really wanted to be a butthole, I'd say the opposite. Well, how many of y'all how many of y'all ain't breaking no laws? Look. Ain't no hands gonna go up. You better examine yourself. Read on.
Verse 27. For now are the plagues come upon the whole earth.
Plagues come upon what?
Upon the whole earth.
Man, this coronavirus. Boy, it hit a good amount of the earth from what I understand. It didn't just hit like the United States. Huh? Every country but Antarctica. For real? Wow. Every country but Antarctica. Who live on Antarctica? El Salvador didn't get hit with it? Dang. We need to go back to where you from, Mark. I'm going to swim over there, all right? Just drop me off close enough. And I'm going to backstroke the rest of the way. Man, dang, that's crazy. The whole world. The whole world. Tell me these scriptures ain't on point. And like I said, this just like a this just like a test, man. The coronavirus ain't nothing. Imagine when Esau really get in his bag and really start dropping that foolishness. It's coming. Every day they like, okay, 250, up 100, up 50, up 10, up, just stay at home. The games he play. All of this, and we preparing, trying to keep this Passover. Coincidence? I think not. Heard folks is talking about, we canceling the Passover. It ain't no option. It ain't no option. You know, it's getting real. It's getting real. And it's allowing us to get a glimpse of handling things through a place of urgency. Because like I said, we Israel. We wax fat and we kick. We get comfortable in some of the worst conditions. We get comfortable in some of the worst conditions, man. Like we be in the hood, homies getting shot left and right. But yeah, we comfortable. We feel comfortable when we leave. We feel uncomfortable when we leave the hood. It's crazy. I'd have been in neighborhoods that ain't as bad as the neighborhood that I come from. And I feel out of sorts in somebody else's neighborhood, like, because I'm not from around there. But yet I live in my hood, and I know the foolishness that's kicked up in my hood, but I feel more comfortable because I done got used to the nonsense, used to the foolishness in my hood. How many of y'all been there? You know, Israel, man, there's something about us, man. We adapt. We adapt to some of the worst conditions quickly. You know, but it's time. The Most High says, this ain't your rest. Book of Micah, he said, man, you better stop being so complacent. You better prepare to get up out of there. Go to Revelation chapter 11 and verse 8. Revelation chapter 11 and verse 8. Go ahead.
Revelation chapter 11 and verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
Spiritually called Egypt. He said this place is called spiritually Sodom and Edom. We know why it's spiritually called Sodom, right?
Sodom and Egypt.
You said what I said? Oh, not Edom, but Egypt, even though we know it's Edom. Sodom and Egypt. So we know why this place is called Sodom, right? Whole bunch of sodomites out here. Right? No, yeah, y'all act like I'm saying something foreign, like y'all scared. Man. Don't say nothing. I'll get fired from my job. It's a bunch of sodomites in this country. They've passed all types of policies and laws and initiatives. All types of legislation has gone forth and continues to go forth. They lobby for all types of laws for the rights of sodomites. And then this is Egypt, a place of our bondage. The place where they practice all the things that they practiced in ancient Egypt. Right? So this place is called Egypt, spiritually, Egypt. Go from there. Get 2nd Esdras. Let's go back. Let's go to 15 again. Let's start at verse 5. Let's get 5 and 6, and we're going to drop down to 10.
Second Ezra, chapter 15 and verse 5.
Yep.
Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world.
He said, I'm going to bring plagues upon the world. Read on.
The sword, famine, death, and destruction.
Now, what's so crazy, I ain't going to spend the whole day and another hour or anything of that nature going through all of the details of all of this. But I was talking to some brothers, and one thing that for a while I wasn't thinking straight, right? I'm sitting up here waiting for a moment for all of these things to just be happening like right in front of me and next door to me, right? Right? So I'm sitting up here like, okay, this time is going to come. This time is going to come. Not realizing that this time has come. These things are already happening. Like when it talks about how they're going to be going up in houses. They've been going up in houses at an alarming rate. It's already happening. And it's happening here. I think they said it's spiked tremendously in like Beverly Hills and Hollywood. They've been going in houses. Wow. And you know that's right next door. Right? What do you say? Inglewood always up to no good. Man, it's going down already. He said, look, sword. People continuously being gunned down. Famine. A lot of y'all didn't think it was a famine until recently. They sitting up here rationing chicken. How many of y'all have been to the store to try to get chicken? They tell you can only get like 1 or 2 packets. Like what? They ain't had no chicken most of the places, right? No chicken, no beef, no bread. Straight up. Scriptures coming to life. Death. They talking about all these deaths. Oh, now another death has been confirmed. But we been dying. And we steady dying. They ain't documenting all of the deaths that's happening in the hood. And destruction. Continuously being destroyed. Go ahead.
For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth.
Wickedness has exceedingly polluted this whole earth at this point. Go ahead.
And their hurtful works are fulfilled.
Drop down to verse 10.
Verse 10, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter.
Now that's the part I want to deal with. He said, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. Be careful. Who's leading the majority of our people at this point? A A lot of times we highlight these bootleg pastors and they spiritual crack houses. Oh yeah, you go get a hit. Tomorrow everybody gonna go get their hit. They gonna be feeling good until that high come down on Monday. They high might last a little bit longer because a lot of them ain't got to go to work on Monday. Man. Boy. Boy, Creflo like them Israelites and the Maccabees that was wicked as Creflo a wicked one, boy. That's a wicked Jake. Creflo is a wicked Jake. Said he set up basically made it more convenient for people to make sure that they pay their tithes, but can't have an actual service, man, because of the coronavirus, but I'll still take your money. As if folks don't need that money at this point. He probably preaching to them online. God gonna send your stimulus. You pay me 1,000 and God is gonna give you 2. Won't he do it? Creflo a dirty dog, boy. Creflo is a dirty, dirty dog. A lot of y'all love fork-tongued TD Snakes. Y'all love them. Cash Flow Dollar and TD Snakes. Robbing the people. Will a man rob God? TDJ sounded like Sylvester, what's his name off of Thuffer and Thuckatash. Man, they be appalled. This man is such a great speaker. He be bringing out for all of the stuff that he do bring out. He act like his fathers, not his biological fathers, but his fathers that have adopted him and gave him the game on how to continue to rob the children of Israel. Esau is his daddy, and he operates just like Esau, fork tongue, snake. Give you some tidbits that make you feel good, like that's true. He do be speaking some, and then all of the while, boy, he come in, creep from behind. Snakes, straight up. A time like this, and it was the same thing when we went to Ghana. The same thing, robbing the people. And then folks is following behind media, following behind, I'm sitting up there watching the governor talking, and they like, can't trust half of what they say. Go ahead.
Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt.
He said, I don't want y'all to continue to dwell here too much longer because it's going down. He said, right now, Esau, you don't even realize that are being led to the slaughter. Esau's like, I've done all that I can do. I've made all of the money that I can make. It's getting too close for comfort. And the prophecy says that you guys are going to take me down. It's best that I get you first. He said, it's best that I strike first. And you ain't got to believe me. You just give it about 5 more years and you'll see. I'll start rounding Jakes up and all kind of foolishness is going to happen within this next decade. Go ahead.
But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues.
He said he's going to do what?
But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before.
So how many of y'all waiting for that COVID-19 vaccination? Is that going to save us? Huh? I tell him like this. Out of everything that Esau charges for, right? He charged you for everything. But you want to give me vaccinations for free? You got me messed up. I don't need that. Like, everything else you turning a profit on. And you telling me you willing to give all of these flu shots away for free. Especially because a lot of our people don't know. They don't know all of the experiments Esau has performed on our people. That's one of the more known ones. Ain't nowhere in the world. Said we waited all this time for a nation that could not save us. Esau can't save you. The Most High says, I'm going to be the one with stretched out arms to be the one to save you from this modern day Egypt, from the plagues that's going to hit this place. That's why it's important for us to revisit that history when we come upon the Passover. Because what did he do when we were in the land of Egypt back then? Huh? Now think about this real quick, and I ain't going to hold you too much longer. We technically got 30 more minutes I can ramble on. I don't even need that 30.
He said, just give me 25.
They got hope now. They perked up like, we about to, what? Hey, think about this. Most High could have easily been like, look, we just leaving. Get your stuff, we rolling. Most High said, nah. I need you to believe in me. Most High started dropping plagues. Why? He could have just came and destroyed. He could have came and just took what was his. But he said, I'm gonna bring forth a show of power. So the whole earth will know and tremble. And my people will have no doubt. And he said, if you think that was something, he said, they ain't gonna even talk about that. He said, they gonna talk about when he bring us up out of this new Egypt. Man, we at that point, we coming close. He said, read your history. He said, I'm sending these plagues. Immediately after those plagues, it was 10 plagues. Salvation came. So if you see plagues being dropped on the earth, that should be the telltale sign that what? Salvation is near. Cause I seen Israel, some of us, we was like, man, shoot, man, that's all, man, this coronavirus thing, I ain't tripping. Like, then you start seeing like, okay, well, yeah, let me get a couple of beans, nigga, let me get some drain, you know. Just, you know, Moses High said, okay, you can play if you want to. You better you gotta get your stuff right. He says you got a few diligent ones that already had their oil. He said, but all of y'all ain't been that diligent. He said, I gotta show you with the carnal things so that you can understand the spiritual things. He said, and I'm showing you right now, get your life in order. Prepare, get ready, be as pilgrims. A pilgrim is somebody that's ready to move from place to place. He said, because I'm coming back. And it's going to be time to fight. Go ahead and read.
And smite Egypt with plagues as before, and it will destroy all the land thereof. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that God shall bring upon it.
Drop down to verse 18. That was all I needed. On your own time, read that history. And actually this prophecy. He said it's going to get bad, and he gives you details of what's going to happen. Go to Revelation chapter 12. Revelation chapter 12, and let's get 12 through 17 real quick.
The book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 12. Therefore, rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell therein. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he has but a short time.
He said, this is the reason why this is happening. Esau knows that he has but a short time. His time is almost up. How long has America stood? How long has this empire stood? 400 years.
Depends which timeline. Yeah, 400 years he count, or he counted 200 and, something that he count.
Approximately 400 strong, right? Now watch this though. How many others have lasted that long? Empires. He knows that his time is short. He knows that his time is short. This is all about the fall down. And now he's got to make a move. Go ahead.
For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And when the dragon saw that he was cast into the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child.
He persecuted the woman, which is the children of Israel. This is talking about a nation of people. You can read that in the book of Jeremiah, right? And this woman which brought forth the man-child, this is the same nation that's responsible for bringing forth our king, the one that the world calls Jesus Christ, Hamashiach Yahawashi. Read.
And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent.
So that happened. There was a time. But watch this. Read.
And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood.
So what is this flood talking about? All of these lies, this propaganda. And that's what's happening to our people right now. You getting washed away in the flood and the nonsense that the news is telling you, and they causing you to be afraid, and you're doing this and you're doing that, but you, all the while you ain't doing the main thing that you need to be doing, is doing what we doing right here. Adhering to this word. All praise be to the Most High for every last one of y'all. Y'all said forget the coronavirus. Said I need my spirit fed. I need to be amongst godly people, like-minded people. This is what's going to have to happen for us to be what we need to be to endure these times. We're going to need each other. Read on.
And the earth helped the woman. And earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood with the dragon cast out of his
That's
mouth.
what's happening. Archaeology has proven how much that this devil called Esau, Edom, the nation that we call the white race, has been lying to us. And it's exposing those lies, showing us that we are the chosen people. Right? Read on.
And the dragon was wroth with the woman.
That dragon, verse 9, you can read about him, talking about, again, the nation of Edom. Read on.
And went to make war with the remnant of her seed.
And that happens to be y'all, us. Read on.
Which keep the commandments of
Which
God.
do what?
Which keep the commandments of God.
So now, this is my last thing that I want you to understand. Believe this. Although all of our nation has suffered throughout this captivity, right? They are not going to be the target from here on. We are the target. I'm going to say that one more time. We are the target. He said not just the remnant of her seed, but the remnant of her seed, which what?
Which keep the commandments of God.
And do what?
And have the testimony of Mashiach Yahawashi.
This truth this is what's going to destroy their kingdom. And they're going to do everything that they possibly can do to try to stop it from happening. All praise be to the Most High. Stay strong, brothers and sisters. Stay strong. Gird yourself up. Now is the time to pray, fast, prepare yourself, prepare your spirit. Be an example, endure. Those are your loved ones that's watching from the sidelines. They counting on you to be an example. Be that example, all right? Because the time is near. And they see that the time is near. People are going to start coming in. But let them come in here to something that's real. Let them come up in here unto Israelites that they can cleave to, that's going to hold it down regarding these commandments and going to do right by one another. That's what we got to do. That's what we got to exemplify. And again, man, all praise be to the Most High for giving us life, for preserving us, for giving me the opportunity to even be before y'all and speak. And all praise be to the Most High for our dear brother, Franklin Goodman. You know, we will do everything that we can, Most High willing, to make sure we preserve the memory of our brother who was a leader within our organization and a leader within our nation. All praise be to the Most High. Got anything, God?
Well, before we close, for all Israel, those tuned in online, make sure you're getting all your preparation for Passover. You know, get what you can. You know, now, before, I mean, we don't know which way Esau going to turn it, you know, but nevertheless, get everything you can, you know, ASAP. Get a food saver, preserve what you can, hey, put stuff in freezer bags, whatever it is, but get what you can now while it's still available, all right? You know, so, and then I'll say more after we close out, you know, and announcements, things of that nature.
God.
So.
Any announcements?
Announcements. God.
Anything from security?
Con, we got some announcements. He's coming out right now.